Hello students, wishing you a very happy new year 2021 and welcome back to this online class. And in this week we shall take Geography chapter 5 and the topic is major domains of the earth. The key aspects of the major domains of earth are lithosphere, which comprises of continents. Then second one is hydrosphere, which consists of oceans, rivers, pond, lakes, etc. And third one is atmosphere, which is air all around us. And fourth one is biosphere, which is the life-sustaining area or sphere. In Greek language, the word lithos means stone, atmos means vapor, and hudar means water, and bios means life. So, the life exists on the earth because of the favorable conditions present there. All life-sustaining elements, that is land, water and air, are also present. So these three together form the major components of the environment and are called the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere respectively. A combination of these three components create ideal conditions for nurturing all forms of life or bringing up all forms of life. So this zone is known as the biosphere. Lithosphere, or what is meant by lithosphere? The upper surface of the earth, which is made up of rocks and soil, is called the lithosphere. Its top layer is known as the crust. This crust is thicker under continents but thinner under oceans. The lithosphere is uneven, means not same or not plain everywhere. Therefore, the highest point is the Mount Everest, which is 8,848 meters above the sea level, and the deepest being the Mariana Trench, which is 11,022 meters below the sea level. 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water and only 29% forms the land surface. The land masses are called the continents, and the large water bodies surrounding the continents are called oceans. The oceans are interconnected, and therefore the level of water remains the same everywhere. So this is called the sea level, and all the heights and depths are measured with reference to this level. Continents. There are 7 continents. They are Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Australia and Antarctica. Most parts of this continental land masses lie in the northern hemisphere, and that is why this hemisphere is called the land hemisphere. Now let's discuss them one by one. Let's discuss about Asia. Asia is the largest continent, covering almost 1/3 of the total landmass, and it lies in the eastern hemisphere. The whole of Asian continent lies in the northern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer passes through this continent, and it is separated from Europe by the Ural Mountains, Caspian Sea, and the Black Sea. Asia and Europe are together known as Eurasia. Asia also happens to be the most thickly populated continent of the world. About 4 billion people live in the continent, which is almost more than 60% of the total world population. Coming on to Africa. It is the second largest continent and it lies both in the northern and southern hemisphere. The equator, Tropic of Cancer, as well as the Tropic of Capricorn all pass through this continent. The continent has the Atlantic Ocean on the west, the Indian Ocean on the east and south, the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea in the north and northeast. Africa is separated from Europe by the Strait of Gibraltar in the northeast and the Mediterranean Sea in the north. The Suez Canal separates Africa from Asia. It is a very big and continuous landmass having a large number of countries with rich natural resources. Africa has the world's largest hot desert, that is the Sahara Desert. And interestingly, River Nile, which is the world's longest river, also flows through this continent. Now coming on to North America. It is the third largest continent and it lies entirely in the northern and western hemisphere. It is linked to South America by the narrow Isthmus of Panama. Isthmus means a narrow strip of land with water on both sides and joining two landmass. So it is surrounded by the water bodies on three sides, that is the Arctic Ocean in the north, the Atlantic Ocean in the east, and the Pacific Ocean in the west. South America, as the name suggests, it lies entirely in the southern hemisphere. This too is surrounded by oceans on all sides except for the isthmus, which connects it to North America. The Pacific Ocean lies in the west and the Atlantic Ocean in the east. The Andes Mountains, which is the world's longest mountain range, runs through its length from north to south. Europe is located in the northern hemisphere. This continent lies to the west of Asia. It extends to both the eastern and western hemisphere and is surrounded by water bodies on three sides. The Arctic Ocean lies in the north, the Atlantic Ocean lies in the west, and the Mediterranean Sea in the south. Australia. It lies in the southern and eastern hemisphere. It is the smallest continent and has derived its name from a Latin word australis, which means southern. It is a part of Oceania, which includes Australia, New Zealand, and other islands. Australia is also known as an island continent. It is the sixth largest country in the world as well. Antarctica. It lies in the southern hemisphere and has the South Pole at its center. It is a very big landmass which is permanently frozen and has no permanent settlement. However, many countries have set up research stations in Antarctica. India's research stations are named as Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Now, let me give you about the areas of continent, how much portion or how much percent each continent covers. I have collected it from some other sources. Asia, it covers 29.6%. Africa, 20.2%. North America, 16.2%. South America, 11.8%. Europe, 7.7%. Australia, 5.7%. Antarctica, 9.5%. Hydrosphere, the domain of water that covers almost 71% of the Earth's surface, is called the hydrosphere. This includes oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, ice sheets, underground water, and water vapor. While oceans and seas have salt water, lakes and rivers have fresh water. 97% of the Earth's water reserves are found in the oceans. All the oceans, seas, and bays are connected to one another. So, the water level remains the same in all these water bodies. As most of the southern hemisphere is covered by oceans and seas, it is often called the water hemisphere. Oceans are the major part of hydrosphere. They are all interconnected. The ocean waters are always moving. The three chief movements of ocean waters are the waves, the tides, and the ocean currents. The five major oceans are the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Southern Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean. Now let's discuss them one by one. Pacific Ocean. This is the largest ocean which extends over 1/3 of the globe. The Pacific Ocean is circular in shape with North and South America lying on one side and Asia and Australia lying on the other side. In the north, it is linked to the Arctic Ocean, while in south it merges with the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean. The Mariana Trench, which is 11,022 meters below the mean sea level and is the deepest point of the earth, lies under this ocean. It has a coastline of 135,663 kilometers. The average depth of Pacific Ocean is about 4,030 meters. Next is Atlantic Ocean. It is the second largest ocean and is S-shaped. It is surrounded by the two Americas on the western side and Europe and Africa on the eastern side. With the length of 111,866 kilometers, the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean is very long and irregular, providing ideal location for natural ports and harbors. It is the busiest ocean. The Milwaukee Deep in the Puerto Rico Trench is the deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean, where its depth goes to 8,605 meters below the mean sea level. The average depth is about 3,330 meters. Now coming on to the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean is the third largest ocean in the world and the only ocean to be named after a country. This ocean is triangular in shape. India is located at the head of this ocean, with Africa lying to the west and Australia to the east. The ocean has a coastline of 66,526 km with the depth of 7,258 meter. The Java Trench is the deepest point in this ocean. Next is Arctic Ocean. It is the smallest of all the oceans. It is located within the Arctic Circle and surrounds the North Pole. This ocean lies to the north of America, Europe, and Asia. It remains covered with the thick sheets of ice throughout the year. It has a coastline of 45,389 km with the depth of 4,465 meter. The Fram Basin is the deepest point in this ocean. Next is Antarctic Ocean. The Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Ocean merge at a place and are collectively known as Antarctic Ocean. This ocean is also known as the Southern Ocean. It surrounds the landmass of Antarctica. It has a coastline of about 17,968 km with a depth of 7,235 meter. The South Sandwich Trench is the deepest point of this ocean. Atmosphere. The Earth is surrounded by a thin layer of air that is an essential part of our life. This is like a thin layer of blanket which protects the Earth from extreme temperatures and also provides the air we breathe. It extends for about 1,600 km above the Earth's surface and contains gases which are essential for life. Now, what are the constituents of atmosphere? The atmosphere is made up of a mixture of different gases. It has 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and 1% of argon, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other gases. While nitrogen is essential to maintain fertility of soil and helps plants to grow, oxygen is the breath of life. The carbon dioxide helps plants to manufacture food and helps absorb heat to keep the earth warm. Ozone and another gas found in a small quantity is extremely important as it protects the earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. Now, what are the layers of atmosphere? Atmosphere is divided into 5 layers based on composition, temperature, and other properties. Starting from the Earth's surface, these layers of the atmosphere are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. The thickness of each layer is different. All human activities and weather changes take place in the lowest layer, that is the troposphere. Now, air has weight and it exerts pressure on the surface of the earth, which changes due to heat and temperature. It is densest near the earth's surface and the pressure too is the highest. The atmosphere pressure decreases with the increase in the height. That means as we go higher, the pressure becomes less. The air becomes thinner and thinner as one goes higher. Temperature also decreases as height increases. In areas of high temperature, air pressure is low as air expands, but in colder areas, pressure is high. So it is the difference in atmospheric pressure over different areas which make air to move, and moving air is called wind. Wind always blows from high pressure to low pressure areas. This causes changes in weather conditions. Biosphere. Biosphere is the narrow zone of contact where lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere come in contact with each other. The word bio means life. It is in this sphere that all forms of life exist and makes the Earth a unique planet. From a minute bacteria to huge whales, all organisms exist and grow in the biosphere, which provides a suitable habitat for all. Plant and animal are the two broad divisions of the living organism. They are interrelated and at the same time dependent on their immediate surroundings. The surroundings within which all organisms survive is called its environment. The three domains, that is, the land, air, and water, interact and affect each other. If one changes, the other gets changed automatically. If balance in nature is disturbed, the entire cycle of life is affected. So let's find out how human activities affect the environment. The human population is increasing rapidly, and this increase the world's demand of all resources, from food to minerals. Trees are being cut on a large scale. Minerals are also being extracted at a very rapid pace. So, does man ever pause or to think about its impact or effect? Do we understand how this is disturbing the balance in nature? Like deforestation reduces rainfall and promotes deserts. It pollutes the rivers and atmosphere alike. Emissions from industries and vehicles increase the carbon dioxide content in the atmosphere, resulting in uneven rise in temperatures. So this is termed as global warming. It has serious consequences. Therefore, we must understand that our greed and lack of concern will ruin or destroy our earth. Therefore, we must maintain a balance in nature by checking pollution of land, air, and water. The earth will remain beautiful only if a balance is maintained between nature and man. So dear students, that's all for today, and I have given all the notes from your exercise. Please note it down and read the chapter once again to understand it better. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.